late afternoon, children. We are driving to Winder, Georgia in less than ideal conditions. That is nothing we ain't used to. First thing, a word about the Rush Limbaugh thing. Rush Limbaugh passed away. He was an icon and a great American and a good man, and he's irreplaceable. And a lot of people had a tough day yesterday. I among them. I actually didn't realize I was going to feel as strongly about his passing as I did, because normally celebrity passings, I'll take a moment to consider that person, but that one actually bugged me a little bit. Still a little bothersome, but predictably the left has decided to dance on his grave. A lot of these people you expected from, and you really don't even merit a comment, but some of the people that have had some shit to say, should know better. And Rush is not the person that he's being presented by some people. This thing that he did back in the late 80s, and he apologized for it in 1990. And he did apologize for it, by the way, when he was doing that bit on his show 30 years ago. Now remember, you're talking about a guy in his late 30s at that point. So he's doing more shock jock shit. He isn't an established media personality. He's doing silly things, and he apologized. He said it was heartless, crass, it embarrassed him to look back on it, immature early radio days, and I'm sorry. And the other thing is that he said that the country wasn't ready to elect a man kissing his husband on the Democratic National Convention stage. And he's right. And that's not homophobic, because he's right. I agree. He's right. The country wasn't ready. And if you want to know which part of the country wasn't ready the most, it was probably black men, because every time he did something gay that made it onto TV, black men's approval rating of him went into the toilet. So, get mad at Rush for that shit. Rush didn't do anything. Rush just noticed. He shouldn't, that's a thing that the left does a lot, is, because you notice something, you're a racist. No, you're an idiot. Person calling me a racist, but that's not racism. All right. So now that we've put that aside, progressivism is the beating heart, or the beating heart of progressivism is narcissism. That is an absolute truth. The reason that, and I know it because I was a little progressive in the early 90s, and I had some condescending attitudes towards a lot of things that I just didn't get at all. I didn't get it all. And I actually needed a couple of black friends of mine to sit me down and lovingly tell me how full of shit I was a couple of times. Embarrassed the fuck out of me. One of them, David Burke, is still on my friends list. David Burke, if you see this video and feel like chiming in with some stories about what a dumbass I was in 1988, brother, knock yourself out. But yeah, I used to not get it. And then you hit about 30 or so, and you start to leave your child mind, and you start to either be real or continue accumulating this pile of shit, bullshit shit, and decorating it with flowers and sprinkles and glitter. Or you can get real and you can start being honest about some things. And that's not always easy, because that takes insight, that takes calling yourself out. And, with the loving help of friends, I was able to do that. Some people stay crazy their whole damn lives, and that's unfortunate. If you're in your 40s and you still believe some of this shit, you probably don't have a good shot anymore, That bridge probably blew up behind you. But progressivism is an expression of narcissism in almost every case. You think you're helping, but you don't really know that you're helping. This sounds good, right? And this really surface approach to something, so it lacks nuance. It's somewhat immature, but it feels good. It makes me feel good, so we're going to do it. And then 5 years later, 20 years later, you look back and it actually killed people or hurt people. You don't even know that. You don't take the time to know that, because that doesn't make you feel good. So there's like this shit in Texas. We're going to put windmills in Texas which is ridiculous because Texas is awash in fossil fuels, natural gas everywhere. You could do the whole state in a natural gas system, and you'd have never had any of this happen, and that's fact. So when they tell you that natural gas and coal failed too, well, natural gas and coal failed because the other thing failed first, and that caused the natural gas and the coal part to fail, and so quit lying. So if you'd had just a whole grid of natural gas, it wouldn't have failed. If you'd had a whole grid of windmills, you'd have rolling blackouts and outages all year long, over and over and over. It'd just be a thing. You'd be glad when you had, every house would have a generator. You'd be pumping gas into it all the damn time, especially in the summertime, and especially now. I mean, so why did you do it? You put the windmills there because it makes you feel good. Hard stop. You put the windmills there because it makes you feel good. You didn't need them, but when you drive down the interstate and you see them, it makes you feel like you're saving the earth, even though you don't know shit about them. You don't know anything about the waste they produce. You don't know anything about the ancillary problems that happen around them. You don't know, PETA person, you don't know about all the birds they kill. Apparently they kill a bunch of birds. You think birds would be able to stay out of them, but no, apparently birds are dumb. If you're going to keep them de-iced to levels that would have gotten them through this past winter, now you're talking about them not really being environmentally friendly anymore, because that takes fossil fuels, airplanes, and trucks, and chemicals, and all sorts of other fun stuff. So really, the only reason you do it is because it makes you feel good, because there is no tangible benefit of them. They're not doing any of the things you think they're doing. And you can do that with a whole bunch of progressive things. Don't think I'm cherry picking, you know. You can do that with $15 an hour. You know, every time they do some $15 an hour shit somewhere, it devastates the economy. A whole bunch of restaurants close. I mean, and that's objective. You can go and check. They'll come back 5 years later with a study that they paid for that says, oh, it turned out not to be quite so bad. And you'll buy it even though you just sat there and watched it. You sat there and watched it, and you'll let them do that to you, knowing that they do that shit. Knowing that for that study, I mean, here's a study, all right, well, here's 6 more that says you're an idiot. But, all right, so Long Beach just did. Long Beach decided they were going to do hero pay. You know what hero pay is? Me either. Hero pay is their little virtue signal, their little attempt at making COVID romantic. Don't fall for that shit. That's propaganda. When they do all that hero shit. Hero pay is they're going to pay the essential workers $4 more an hour because, you know, they're risking their lives. So the bag boys, right? And whoever else, the people that are working in restaurants, they get $4 more an hour at a time when they have like 20% of the revenue coming in. So they're going to close down a whole bunch of damn restaurants. Well, so they do this. In Long Beach, they do this. And the next day, 25% of the Kroger's close. So, happy birthday, motherfuckers. We're helping. Yeah. Do you see what I'm talking about? You're not helping. You make yourself feel better, and then you hurt people. Right? And you hurt poor people, and you hurt vulnerable people, and you hurt minorities, and you hurt all these people that you think you're helping, but you're not. This is that same conversation that David Burke had with me, that Cecily had with me, where they're pointing out that I'm an idiot. And I don't really have a good comeback for them, to be honest with you. I'm just sitting there feeling like an idiot, wanting to, you know, disappear into the cracks of the floor. Because they're right. Right? So when I call this shit out, I'm calling it on myself. Because I lived it. I had my mea culpa. I ate my shit sandwich. Gun control is a good one. Let's do gun control. Gun control. Liberals going to tell you you can't have a gun. They're going to protect you from this violent world. Well, I mean, everybody knows that the only people that are going to abide by that shit are the people that aren't the problem. It ain't like, you know, the Crips and the Bloods who turning in their fucking guns. So now you can't defend yourself. So basically what you're telling a little white girl in Dunwoody, or even better, somebody living in a gated community with armed security, that's cool. Telling everybody else they can't have a gun because you're looking out for them because you know best. You know, how condescending and smug and racist is that? Especially when you tell it to Granny in South Chicago or South Central LA who lives between a couple of crack houses, is raising a couple of her grandchildren and would like to drive their ass to the drive their ass, like to walk their ass to the bus stop, right? In some sort of safety. I mean, it'll never be safe, but at least you'll feel better. Well, I'm gonna walk my grandkids to the but no, you can't have a gun for that, says Brittany in Dunwoody. Really? You get to tell Granny in South Chicago she can't have a gun from Dunwoody. Why? Why do you get to do that, Brittany? I mean, if you were wearing a hood and had a burning cross behind you right now, you would be indistinguishable from the fucking Klan. Do you know that, Brittany? What makes you, in your point of view, somehow ascendant in the life of that black person? Is it because you're one of the good ones, Brittany? Is that what it is, Brittany? That you're one of the good ones? Or is it that somebody has mind-fucked you into believing that you're one of the good ones? So now you forgive yourself for doing racist as fuck shit. Because that's what I think it is. I'm just saying.